All the way back in the year 1621, our ancestors shared in a massive harvest with the indigenous people of America. They called it Thanksgiving. At least that's how the legend goes. We'll talk more about that shortly. But first, let me introduce you to someone whom I'd like to have a feast with and also feast upon, the delicious candy-flavored Daniel Zafran.
Hello. I thought you were going to say, and now someone who was at that fateful meal, Daniel Zafran.
Okay, well, were you there? Are you indicating that you were in fact there?
I'm not. Look, there's a lot of rumors flying around about me, but I want to.
Are you going back to the God joke?
I'm going back to. If you'll refer back to episode, fill in, drop a number right here. What the episode was. I did refer to myself as God at the beginning of that episode, but this time I want to set the record straight. I was not at that Thanksgiving dinner.
That Thanksgiving, okay.
Yeah.
Daniel, do you celebrate Thanksgiving? Are you do you get together with your family on Thanksgiving?
I try. They humor me and they let me in once a year from the backyard to come feast upon their spoils.
Wait, the backyard? You're living in their backyard, and then once a year you come out of the backyard?
Yeah. I scratch at the door and they open it up and I come in and eat whatever they have.
The scraps.
Scraps. I do love Thanksgiving. I think, maybe Halloween is my favorite holiday. Maybe.
I think it has to be.
It has to be, given my reputation.
Expertise.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue because Daniel, he's a professional certified candy analyst, co-host of the only candy review podcast, Candy as Dandy. And he's also been on this show several times, most recently on number 268, where we covered the top 10 most sugary chocolate bars. But today, we're mostly stepping away from food and candy to talk about the holiday coming up that we're all ready to get past, or at least I am, and that's Thanksgiving.
Well, hang on. First off, you're saying we're getting away from food, and we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving, which is...
We're mostly getting away from food. Food will come back, but food will not be the focus.
Interesting.
Which might be a first. Have you been on here where we weren't talking about food or candy?
I have refused. You tried to have me on to talk about the fall of the Soviet Union, but I said no.
Well, and I think I tried to get you on here to talk about like the most inspiring women, and you're like, absolutely not.
Well, but are you trying to imply that you don't like Thanksgiving?
I mean, I don't actively dislike it, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, all right, let's just get this fucking thing over with so we can get to the real holidays next month.
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day, exactly.
I love it because there's no pomp and circumstance, it's just a meal. And I'm not trying to pronounce your last name, by the way.
It's not. It took me a second to get that, but that's good.
Yeah,
see, sometimes Daniel's too quick, too sharp, that I can't even keep up.
Yeah, me neither. My writers are just feeding these to me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Nick Emil is here to tell you that Thanksgiving, it's a meal, correct? But like you got to get with the family, and you got to like.
It does depend on how you feel about your family, and I'm gathering here that you hate your family.
I hate everyone that's ever existed.
Every family.
Every family, the family, you listener, I hate your family. I love you because you're a listener, but I hate your family.
What about the 5 families from The Godfather? Would you like to have Thanksgiving with them?
If the choice was between them and my own family, then yeah, I think I would.
Wow.
If the choice was between them and your family, I think I'd choose your family.
Well, I am one of the 5 families.
Okay, great.
So lucky for you.
On Thanksgiving, do you typically travel to a family member's house?
No, luckily my family and my wife's family all live in Los Angeles, which is where I live, except for, one of my sisters doesn't live here. Some extended family doesn't live here. Actually, all extended family doesn't live here. But extended family isn't really part of Thanksgiving.
No,
right?
They fucking suck anyway. But
yeah, they do suck. Immediate family, good. Extended family, bad.
I'd agree with that. I'd concur with that as a general rule. I know others would disagree. Others are like can't stand their parents or their siblings, but they love their aunt or their uncle or their cousin. They all suck, in my opinion, just to be clear. But I'm similar. Most of my immediate family and wife's immediate family is nearby, so we don't have to travel too much, which is good. But I think let me back up and introduce the topic. I haven't actually told you what you're guessing.
Please.
We have 2 mini lists today. You're going to guess first the top 5 most popular Thanksgiving traditions.
Okay.
And then what? Is that so fucking hard to believe? You're like
Well,
so taken aback.
I'm trying to think of what a Thanksgiving tradition is other than eating, which maybe I'll save that as one of my guesses.
That's a huge that might be a guess you want to save on to. I don't want to give any spoilers, but eating. But then right after that, you're going to guess the top 5 most dreaded aspects of Thanksgiving. The things that people like me are like, ugh, we got to do this. It's Thanksgiving. I feel obligated to do this or that.
Okay.
And then interspersed throughout, I'll interject some random fun facts and trivia about Thanksgiving. And so I think that's a good place to start. The origins of Thanksgiving, Daniel. Let's go all the way back to 1621, which was allegedly the first record of a Thanksgiving celebration. But the Thanksgiving was not a national holiday until 1863, when listener of the show and President Abraham Lincoln declared it a national holiday. The Thanksgiving holiday's history in North America is rooted in English traditions dating back to the Protestant Reformation, and the more familiar Thanksgiving precedent, accompanied by feasting, is traced to the Pilgrims and Puritans who immigrated from England in the 1620s and 30s. They brought their previous tradition of days of fasting and days of Thanksgiving with them to New England. So the story goes that the 1621 Plymouth, Massachusetts Thanksgiving was prompted by a good harvest. The Pilgrims celebrated this with the Wampanoags, probably saying that wrong, a tribe of Native Americans who, along with the last surviving Patuxet, had helped them get through the previous winter by giving them food in a time of scarcity. So that's kind of the story. The Pilgrims and the Native Americans came together, and there was peace and love and harmony. But much like Columbus Day today, Thanksgiving is observed by some as a national day of mourning and acknowledgement of the genocide and conquest of Native Americans by colonists. And Thanksgiving has long carried a distinct resonance. What is this word? Resonance? Is that the word? Resonance?
Rescinded?
R-E-S?
Resonance?
It just doesn't sound right.
Because now I'm thinking of the Revenant.
Mm-hmm.
Is this some sort of a Revenant situation we have going on?
Yeah. It does say in the next sentence. I'm such an idiot. Right here it says, and then Leonardo DiCaprio got mauled by a bear in front of him. Sorry. If I had just kept reading another sentence, I would have seen. Anyway, they say the holiday is an embellished story. So there's definitely controversy around the origins of Thanksgiving.
An American tradition based on embellishment? No.
Well, it's funny you say that, because pretty much I've done an episode on this, the top 10 oldest holidays we still celebrate. And when you look at that, I remember doing the research, and 10 out of 10, every single holiday was either A, born elsewhere and then Americanized, and or B, part of some other ancient religion that Christianity then co-opted, kind of like Christmas did not actually begin with the Christian religion. But anyway, we don't have to get into all that.
Oh, no, I think the top 10 most retconned white American holidays is the next list.
How much time you got? How much time you got?
I can list them all in order right now.
Do it.
I mean, that's part of the, like, when people say, like, what's your favorite holiday? I sometimes feel weird saying that Thanksgiving, because there are some pretty bad associations with it. But in terms of, some of us like our families. Weirdos, fucking nerds. But it also, I just like eating. Like it's a.
But you can eat anytime.
What?
You can eat anytime. No one's saying you can't eat except on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but you get to eat at like 4:00 on Thanksgiving.
You can also do that any day you'd like.
What?
Daniel, you can eat food anytime you'd like.
But Mama won't put the food on the table till 6:30.
You eat at 4, huh? Interesting.
We eat pretty early. What time do you have Thanksgiving?
Well, I was actually thinking 4 is kind of late. We usually eat at like 1 or 2. I know.
That's lunch. That's not a Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, it's like, yeah, but then I got a stat right here. It says that in a survey, the best time to eat is, the majority said, between 3 and 4 p.m. So most people are like you.
I've always said this.
Most people are like me.
Most people are like me. And it's usually the button to a conversation where I give my political beliefs.
Political beliefs. Believe it or not, that's going to come up again later.
I have paper this time so I can make notes so I don't look like an idiot for a third time in a row. So I am writing notes of things.
I'd like everyone listening to keep in mind that Daniel said he won't look like an idiot by the end of this episode. Let's revisit that in a few minutes and see how he's doing. Okay, so the list itself. This comes from Innerbody, conducted a survey of 808 respondents, and they also used Google Trends data to analyze how people view Thanksgiving traditions. I have a separate second survey from USA Today Blueprint with 2,000 respondents, and the gist of the surveys were both what is your favorite and least favorite parts of Thanksgiving. So again, you'll do the top 5 favorite parts of Thanksgiving and the top 5 least favorite, and let's start with the favorites. So Daniel, what do you think most Americans said is the thing they enjoy most about Thanksgiving?
Well, I feel like a few of these answers are going to be on both lists. Is this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then I'm going to have to say the number one favorite thing is the meal, right?
Can you be more specific?
Okay. It's not turkey because turkey's terrible.
Too specific. You need a medium level of specificity.
Okay, turkey wing?
Okay. Thanksgiving dinner.
Wait, is that the answer? Or
That's the answer.
Thanksgiving dinner. But that's the
Which-
meal.
Well, I would have agreed with you, but it's oddly specific because there is a differentiator on a different part of this list.
Okay.
63% of respondents said Thanksgiving dinner is their favorite, number one favorite Thanksgiving tradition. And it sounds like it's your favorite too, since apparently you can only eat food once a year. That's the only time you eat.
I save up. I'm pumping iron for 364 days a year, drinking no water, no food going inside me, and then I eat an entire turkey.
So all those times on Candy is Dandy, the podcast, where I hear you chewing on candy on the podcast, that's you pretending.
That's a body double.
You actually have a full body double eating the candy. Okay.
I feed it to the body double, and then I make the noises of pleasure.
Oh, baby. But why? Why do you do this to yourself? Why do you starve yourself for 364 days? Is there an end game?
Me? So that I can eat more on Thanksgiving and impress everybody.
Well, speaking of that, the average American eats 4,500 calories on Thanksgiving Day.
That's a lot.
Would you say you're over or under that?
That's a lot. ... for anyone else is what I was going to say.
So they say the overall average is 2,000 calories a day as your recommendation.
Really?
And this is 2.5 times that.
I'm shocked by all of these numbers that you're giving me. I feel like I eat more like 3,000 calories a day, right? Also, I've gained 40
Hang on, listener. Daniel's starting to float away like a giant blimp. His 3,000 calorie a day diet. I mean, I'll occasionally eat 3,000 calories, but not every day.
Is that not right?
No.
Oh.
Look it up. Well, I mean, I think for men it's like 2,200, and for women it's like 1,800 or something like that.
But what about me?
But for you, it's 3,000. I'm starting to understand. Okay, well, what's your favorite food on Thanksgiving?
Well, I'm going to only talk about savory things because that's going to be one of my next guesses is the unsavory. But the number one thing on Thanksgiving for me is definitely stuffing.
Ugh.
What? You don't like stuffing?
I don't like stuffing.
What do you... Do you like America?
No.
Oh, no.
I think I've said this on a past episode, so listeners might remember this, but my family does a very non-traditional Thanksgiving meal. We actually don't do the turkey. We don't do the stuffing. My dad makes like brisket. And
I also
when I do my in-laws Thanksgiving, they do the meal, but it's just never been my thing.
Two things. How do you reconcile the two families? Because that is hard on Thanksgiving. You know, if you have a spouse who has a family to decide who goes where.
That's the bad thing about everyone living in the same area.
Yes.
Is we basically have no excuse to not do both. So we usually do Thanksgiving Day at my family and the day after Thanksgiving at her family.
So
that's a lot.
What is that? That's like Canadian Thanksgiving, isn't it? The day after.
Canadian Thanksgiving is in October, you fucking asshole.
Can we edit that out? That's the...
No, we absolutely cannot.
I cannot
Don't worry,
offend
no one from
Canadians.
Canada is listening.
Oh, thank God.
What was that in your Blow Pop episode? There was a saying, trick or treat, smell my feet.
Oh
what
my
is it?
God.
Something about Montreal.
So we keep learning different things Canadians say instead of trick or treat on Halloween. But the new thing we learned was trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Not too big, not too small, just the size of Montreal.
I hate all of it.
It's pretty bad. And a Canadian person actually explained to us what that means, because I guess Montreal's the second biggest city in Canada, but still not that big. So it's basically a plea to, like, please be reasonable with the amount of candy you give me. Don't...
Absolutely not. I will not be reasonable.
I cannot be burdened by a full size, and I'm worried about your finances for doing so. So please give me something reasonable.
I'm worried about your finances. Yeah, I mean, have you ever gone trick-or-treating and the amount of candy put in you or your child's bag makes you go, I'm actually really worried about their financial situation?
When that happens, I go back to the door and I say, please give me your Venmo. I would like to repay you for what you've done. I'd like to send your kid to college for what you've done.
Well,
the second thing I was going to ask or just comment on is that my family is also a little non-traditional with Thanksgiving. We do turkey, but we do also do brisket. But we don't do mashed potatoes.
So is this supposed to, like, impress me that your family's like mine, or?
I was trying to find common ground with you. And also, I wanted to let you know that that guy at the end of the table of all of your Thanksgivings, that was me.
Oh, that's you? Yeah. All these years. Daniel, we could have been talking about all kinds of things all these years. Podcasts, candy. That's it.
Those are the two things I know.
No other common ground.
No. And brisket.
Brisket. You definitely prefer brisket over turkey, right? Brisket's hard to beat.
Turkey's bad. Like, it's never really good.
I do not like I mean, I like a deli turkey sandwich, like a turkey sandwich from the deli, but I do not like the turkey leg, turkey on Thanksgiving.
I'll eat it out of, deference to the flag, the Stars and Stripes, but I don't like it. God bless America, and God bless you. But I don't. Well, it's not good. If there's gravy is the it's just
you're
a vessel.
Making things worse.
You don't like gravy either?
No.
What?
I know. I'm weird.
Right,
I get it.
Getting
but hey,
weird.
Look, I know what really is the case at your family. They take off. What do they call that? Like the dish with the lid on it that you take off of, like a turkey.
I think it's like a cloche. Maybe.
Is that real?
I think it might be called a cloche.
I don't know what it's called, but everyone can visualize like the silver tray that the turkey's sitting on, and there's the big lid that you take off to present the turkey to everyone. In your family, it's just one giant blow pop, like one of those mega blow pops, like novelty blow pops.
And it does have wings on it.
And you can't cut into that, so you all just got to kind of lean up on the table and lick it.
We lick it until we get to the and then when we all get towards the bubblegum part, we all bite at the same time.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. It doesn't sound weird or anything else like that. Speaking of turkey, 40 million turkeys were consumed on Thanksgiving Day alone in 2019, so around 40 million turkeys a year. 85% of Americans say they partake in a Thanksgiving meal, which comes out to 276 million Americans eating turkey every Thanksgiving. They spend over $1 billion on turkey every Thanksgiving season.
That's outrageous.
That's where you draw the line?
That's where I draw the line. 1.8. I think, I don't know. I mean, it seems cruel to do that to so many turkeys, but then again, like, we eat animals every day.
Well, some of us do.
Some of us don't. Like I said, everybody is like me, so we do eat animals every single day.
And I just admitted to eating brisket, so I can't even pretend that I don't eat animals. Although we eat, plant-based brisket at my family Thanksgiving.
It's mostly pea protein.
Well, for more on the foods that people like most on Thanksgiving, we did cover the top 10 most popular Thanksgiving foods back on episode 241. So, Daniel, you have Thanksgiving dinner as the most popular Thanksgiving tradition. It's number 1. What else do you have?
I'm going to say Thanksgiving dessert is number 3.
Nope.
Is it number 2?
Thanksgiving dessert is not on the list.
That's crazy.
But a different, less logical thing is on here. So Thanksgiving dinner is on here, but not breakfast, not dessert.
Leftovers.
All right, this is embarrassing. Do you remember when you said you were going to not embarrass yourself?
I think I've created this season's Frankenweenie. First came Frankenweenie. Second came...
Major kudos for that callback.
Well, the last time it was your horrendously stupid guess of whatchamacallit bars. And now, this time, we have Thanksgiving leftovers.
So whenever Daniel's on the show, I guess like an oopsie or a fuck up, for us, that's a Frankenweenie, right? Because you guessed that Frankenweenie was one of the most beloved Halloween movies of all time.
You were leading me. You kept saying it's a Tim Burton movie. It was
Beetlejuice.
Spooky.
Who guesses Frankenweenie before Beetlejuice? It was a true Frankenweenie moment.
I pulled a Frankenweenie.
Well, I don't blame you for not guessing this one, actually. Thanksgiving lunch is on here. And to me, that's dumb, because it should just be combined with Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving meal should be the category, but whatever. Thanksgiving lunch is number 3.
That's what you do.
That's
when you eat it at 1?
I mean, I guess you'd call that lunch. Yeah, sure, lunch. So I guess it's just a matter of some people eat later and some people eat earlier. And some people only eat once a year.
But you don't do both, you know? It's not like it's Thanksgiving lunch and then like, all right, in 5 hours we're reconvening for Thanksgiving dinner.
Look, not everyone that said lunch said dinner and vice versa. They said one or the other.
I don't know.
Look, but I'm going to give you the contact information for the folks at Innerbody. They did the survey on this, and you can take it up with them.
Yeah, I mean, they don't think I don't have their email address ready to go.
At the ready. Well, apparently 46% of Americans do Thanksgiving lunch instead of dinner. So
that's
almost half.
That's almost half. That's crazy. And
well, let's check the math. Hang on. Whoa. Hang on. I want to be accurate. How do we calculate half of something? I don't know.
What's half minus 46?
I think it's 3. Daniel, so you don't travel for... Well, I mean, you do... You at some point get in a car and drive to your parents' house or whoever's house, I assume.
Sure.
Right?
I have to drive like 15, 20 minutes, especially on Thanksgiving. There's no traffic. But a whole nightmare of travel on Thanksgiving is luckily something I've never had to deal with.
Yeah, same here. And I'm about to read you a stat that really surprised me. 55 million Americans travel every Thanksgiving, which is...
That's almost half.
What is it? That's it's not in fact almost half. And they travel an average of 44 miles to get to their Thanksgiving meal destination.
Okay, that's considered travel, because I think I travel maybe 12 miles.
I think I probably do about 44, actually. But isn't that... Oh my God, the cat.
The cat's here. Yeah, he's settling.
He's just going to get comfy right behind Daniel's head here. What's the cat's name again?
Phantom.
Phantom
the cat.
He jumped up there like a phantom. Everyone know that Phantom is very cute, and if you want to see him, you should watch this episode on YouTube.
Yeah, and join his OnlyFans.
I just figured Americans would travel further distances than 44 miles.
That I don't even consider traveling for the holidays, you know? Like, it feels like if you aren't flying, you're not really traveling. You're commuting for the holidays, which is a beautiful song by Gene Autry.
Beautiful. I don't know if I go that far, but it's a song. Daniel, do you know what the plumbing industry refers to the day after Thanksgiving as?
Payday?
Well, that works. So the day after Thanksgiving is typically what shopping holiday?
Black Friday.
So the plumbers call Black Friday, Brown Friday,
Oh,
because the term was coined by plumbers who report a sudden, drastic increase in service calls that report. This is true. That report clogged drains and brokerage garbage disposals happening after Thanksgiving.
they're
Major
going
plumbing
in the
companies,
garbage disposals too?
well, like leftovers. Oh, you think they're shitting in the sink? Well, there's only so many toilets in the house, and if all of you got to go at the same time, you know,
Everybody's scrambling the second the meal is over.
the second meal's over, everyone's just. It's like that scene in Bridesmaids when they had the food poisoning. It's like that at everyone's house after that.
Every Thanksgiving.
It said that Rooter Plumbing reports a 50% increase in service calls on Brown Friday.
That's disgusting. And that maybe speaks to like the
4,500 calories that they're eating.
That's true. How many calories are they pulling out of each drain? That speaks to maybe the overall, the average human diet in America, I guess, is because like you know, because people say Thanksgiving is so unhealthy. You know, you eat so much crap, but do you?
Depends on where you are. Depends what you're eating.
Fried stuffing, fried turkey, fried brisket, that sort of thing. But is it really though? Because like you get a lot of vegetables, you get protein.
But the vegetables are like drenched in, you know, butter and whatever else. They're not. I mean,
this is a problem?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you got to hit that 3,000 calorie mark every day, don't you?
You know that GIF or meme of that guy standing by a tree, like rubbing his hands together, smiling? Like,
yeah,
that's plumbers on Brown Friday. They're waiting for everyone's toilets to clog up and garbage disposals to clog up, so they can rake in the dough.
And rake in the dew. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think yours was better. Thanksgiving lunch is number 3. Thanksgiving dinner is number 1. So you still need the next 3, and there's no more food-related items in the top 5. Food.
Okay, so this is something that's going to be on both, definitely. But seeing your family, I'm going to have a little bit of faith in humanity and say that is number 2.
Well, Daniel, I have faith in you because you are correct.
Wow.
49% of Americans say that the family gathering is their second favorite aspect of Thanksgiving. It is on the bad list too, but we'll get to that later. I want to read you this chart from this survey data. It says, what?
Mr. Freud, we've got a new patient for you, Dada. We're talking about family, number 2, plumbers, Brown Friday, and then you call me Dada? Are you saying that you want to defecate on me and call me Dada?
I mean, it's not the worst idea I've heard today. Not the best, but it's not the worst. They asked these survey takers, who is your favorite relative to see during the holidays?
Is this a sub list that we have here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make you guess them all, but like, what would you say is what most people call their favorite relative to see on Thanksgiving?
I'm going to say a cousin.
That's the second favorite. The favorite is who I thought would be last, the uncle.
Really?
They love seeing their creepy uncle. Has there ever been a good uncle ever?
I know I'm not one.
I'm not one.
I certainly fall into the creepy category.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, 19% say uncle's their favorite, followed by cousin, aunt, grandfather, grandmother.
Well, parents aren't even on this top 5?
They're not.
Wow.
Oh, well, you know what? The question is, besides your siblings and your parents, who's your favorite relative?
All right. I guess that makes more sense. But yeah, okay. I mean, uncles can really go either way, so I do see that.
But don't they always go the bad way? I don't know if they go either way. I think they just go the bad way.
The curve of uncle creepiness always curves towards creepiness, whatever the quote is.
I've never met an uncle I like. Never. Okay. Well, what else you got?
Okay, so we have 4 and 5. We've done dinner, family, and lunch. Okay, I'm going to say something I may have another Frankenweenie on my hands, but I'm going to say that number 4 is the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade.
Holy shit, you fucking got it.
Wow.
It is literally that. Yeah, that's it. I'm not kidding.
This is a bizarro Frankenweenie. It's a Beetlejuice.
Take that Frankenweenie out of your hands because you guessed it. Thanksgiving Parade is, I mean, I guess it doesn't specify the Macy's Parade, but it does say Thanksgiving Parade.
Oh, I love the
number
Nordstrom
4.
Parade for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm really more of a fan of the... Fuck, I can't think of
the Ross Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I'm trying to think of, like the Kmart Thanksgiving Parade. I don't know.
It's all the floats that couldn't be sold from the other parades.
And the floats are literally just deflated and dragged along the ground in the parade.
And people are like rifling through it as it's going through the street.
All right. So that's number 4. 25% of people say that's their favorite thing. Which, I don't know. Who gives a fuck? It's parades are... When's the last parade you saw that got you excited?
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. To coin a phrase, I do love a parade. I love going to parades. And watching them on TV.
I think I'm learning about myself that I'm a fucking miserable son of a bitch. Because if I see a parade on TV, I'm like, next. Go to the next.
You can't press the UFC button on your remote fast enough.
Well, isn't that interesting? Not UFC, but football. I thought NFL would be on here.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
It's number 6, by the way.
Okay. Interesting.
But we're not doing the top 6. We're doing the top 5. So it's actually not on the list.
For number 5, and again, this is something that I think could be on both lists. I'm going to say that Black Friday is number 5.
It's a good guess. It looks like number 7 was Black Friday.
Is Brown Friday number 5?
Brown Friday is number 1. Imagine your Brown Friday after not eating for a year.
It just comes out as like a like one of those tubes you put in a pneumatic like delivery system.
I mean, what a shock to the system. Your body's like, okay, we've grown used to not eating and not drinking for a full year. And then all of a sudden, 5,000 calories hit the system like that.
That's a lot of fried brisket.
Well, it's plant-based, so it's okay.
So I'm struggling now of what else is associated with Thanksgiving, if not football, parades, food, shopping.
It's very similar to parades and football, but not those things.
Similar to parades and football? Is it the dog show?
I'll give you that. It's watching Thanksgiving movies or TV specials.
Okay. Wait a minute. What are the Thanksgiving movies?
I was going to ask you the same question.
Planes,
Can you name a
Trains, and
single
Automobiles?
Thanksgiving movie? That was a Thanksgiving movie,
That's
wasn't
a Thanksgiving movie. They traveled 44 miles on planes, trains, and automobiles.
Let's do a quick Google search.
I mean, there's that Thanksgiving horror movie that came out last year, but I don't know what the other Thanksgiving movies are. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving?
That's a good one. Jim Henson has a Thanksgiving movie, apparently. Grumpy Old Men.
What? Jim Henson has a Thanksgiving
Jack and Jill, the Adam Sandler movie where he plays both himself and the sister. Remember that one?
Well, how could I have not remembered it since I watch it after every Thanksgiving dinner?
Thanksgiving, about a killer turkey.
Okay. I think that's related to the Thanksgiving movie that came out last year. Eli Roth or whatever.
Funny People with Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen.
What, Adam Sandler, the new king of Thanksgiving?
You didn't know this? I didn't think I had to specify that. I just thought there's also, okay, I'll stop. But that's pretty much what I read is like the biggest, most well-known movies I'm seeing that have a Thanksgiving element. Everything else is like movies I've never heard of.
And is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles even on there?
Yeah, it is.
I feel like people are maybe watching Christmas movies because like the end of Thanksgiving is sort of the official start of Christmas. Right?
I think you mean Christmas.
Sorry.
Daniel, I don't know why you're trying to take Christ out of Christmas, but I do agree. Well, I think you're right. I think people are taking Thanksgiving as the official launch of Christmas, and then I think there might be a few Christmas movies out there. We'd have to do another Google search
I
because I'm
can't
not
think.
sure if there's that many. Yeah.
I thought Jack and Jill was
hmm
the only Christmas
So
movie.
I thought Thanksgiving was a Christmas movie. The horror movie Thanksgiving with Eli Roth. I thought that was Christmas, but I guess I was wrong. All right, these are the top 5 most popular Thanksgiving traditions. Number 5, watching a Thanksgiving movie or TV special. Number 4, Thanksgiving parade. Boring. Number 3, Thanksgiving lunch. Number
Also
2,
boring.
family gathering. And
Also
number
boring.
1, Thanksgiving dinner.
Also boring.
Yeah.
To you.
Now, before we go into the next list, which is the worst traditions, I have to give a quick plug. We're talking about movies and TV series. Daniel, have you ever watched Black Mirror, the Netflix series?
No. End of
Okay.
statement.
You really led me down a path there where I thought there'd be more, but there was not more.
I have not seen it.
Okay. Well, you should. It's very good. I love Black Mirror. And for those that don't know, Black Mirror is a hugely popular series exploring the dark futures certain new technology can bring upon humanity. But some of the tech might actually be pretty cool. And so on our latest bonus episode, I invited my fellow Black Mirror superfan, Alex Johns, and we discussed the top 5 scariest technology from Black Mirror and the top 5 most useful technology from Black Mirror. It just came out last week. I hope you'll check it out. You can listen now on our Patreon or Apple Podcast subscription. Just go to tennispod.com/plus. You can also sign up in one tap in the Apple Podcast app. And when you do that, you'll also get next week's episode and every week's episode early and ad-free.
And this is featuring Alex Jones, you said?
Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will be on the show to talk about Black Mirror. That's exactly what I said.
I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, who
Let
else?
it be noted.
Who else can you talk about Black Mirror with?
Who's a bigger fan than Alex Jones?
He actually probably would like that show.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Thanksgiving traditions Americans dread and hate the most.
Okay. So I'm going to say that number 1 is seeing your family. Or is that too broad? Because I could go more specific on it.
Go more specific.
Talking
You're
politics with your family.
So that's not number 1, but number 4 is political disagreements.
Okay.
Political disagreements. 18% say that's their biggest dread on Thanksgiving. I feel it. And this survey, believe it or not, pulled data on this question. They said, if there is an argument with extended family during the holidays, what is it usually about? Politics is number 2 on that list. So political topics are the second leading cause of arguments on Thanksgiving. What do you think number 1 is?
Number 1 is, why did you eat all the stuffing?
Not your family, Daniel. All families in America. What do you think they're saying? Although that would fall under family issues.
I'm going to say something like, why aren't you married yet? Or why don't you have kids yet? Like that sort of argument.
Yeah, well, I gave it to you a second ago. It's family issues, which is a category that includes what you're saying, I'm sure, as well as, hey, I saw you fucking my sister-in-law the other day. I don't know, like, pick your weird...
Who's saying this to who in this scenario?
I don't know, just all the weird random family gossips and dynamics that happen are all coming to a head, and it leads to more than 51% of arguments on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay. So that is the answer. I was trying to guess an answer you already gave me.
Correct. You might say that was embarrassing for you, which again, I will point to you saying you would not be embarrassed today. And again, I will say that is not panned out as planned. Family issues is the number 1 source of arguments, followed by politics, money, children or parenting techniques, and then at number 5 is religion. And Daniel, would you believe 12% say there are 0 arguments on Thanksgiving? And to those people, I want to say, you're not allowed to take surveys anymore because you are lying.
Because you murdered your family last
I have
Thanksgiving.
No family left.
They're all in the basement, so you can't argue with them.
Do you argue with your family on Thanksgiving at all? Your extended family?
Extended family doesn't usually come to our Thanksgiving. At most, I mean, like I
come to Arbor Day.
What is Arbor Day if not a gathering of the extended family?
Exactly.
Have one cousin who lives in town, and then her dad, aka my uncle, will often come. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, it's parents and siblings.
And what do you argue about?
Uh,
Stuffing?
Stuffing. Why did you watch me with my sister-in-law or whatever it is that you said?
Yeah. That's a classic. Classic family argument topic.
Why can't we all swap wives here? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Your dad is the one saying it about his wife.
I
About your mom.
don't know which angle of that premise is more disgusting, but who's arguing that?
All of the angles are bad.
It's all bad. It's bad from every angle. But I mean, politics typically doesn't come up with my family, which is good for sometimes when some of the extended family does come. But I feel like we don't argue that much more so than the usual everyday arguments.
Which are about? Okay.
Who's sleeping with whose wife?
Exactly. Okay, see? I took a little poking to get it out of you, but you're finally coming clean. It's politics and inner family sexual affairs. We've all been there.
We've all been there.
All right.
America.
So if political disagreements is the fourth most dreaded Thanksgiving tradition, what else is on here?
I'm going to say number 2 is dishes.
Oh, see, I like that. I wish it was as specific as that, but it is not. But number 1 would involve doing dishes. So if you take a step back from dishes.
Okay. It's not just cleaning up.
That would also fall under this.
Okay.
Who's cleaning up? I know a lot of people probably help, but cleaning up ultimately falls on who?
The hired help.
Oh my God. We're gonna. I do need to come to your family's house for Thanksgiving. I think I'd enjoy it.
Up.
Yeah.
No arguing. The hired help is here.
Yeah.
And there's a big key party at the end.
Oh my God.
Okay. Wait. So I'm going to play into gender stereotypes here and say that the mom has to do all the cleaning up. Right?
Okay, you sexist son of a bitch. Why would the mom be expected to clean up? Because it's her house, maybe?
Well, it's the dad's house.
Oh my God. All right, for all the 1-star reviews, I'm feeling them hit me right now.
Wait, okay, so
the hosting Thanksgiving is the most dreaded Thanksgiving tradition. When you're expected to host at your own house.
So it's not just the cleaning up, it's the preparing, it's having
everything.
People over.
Hosting is, it's mentally and physically draining. You got to prepare, you got to clean, you're stressed about, your sister-in-law fucking whomever in the guest room. Yeah, so hosting is number 1. 39% of respondents say this is their least favorite part of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
What, you love hosting? Think about it. If Thanksgiving suddenly went from your parents' house to your house, would that not stress you out a little bit?
It would be interesting to fit everyone in my apartment, but no, it would be extremely stressful. You're right. And it wouldn't just be because my wife has to do all the cleaning.
Yeah, well, there's no hired help at your house.
No. Yeah. I live in abject poverty, but at my parents' house.
Well, I know you're not handing out a bunch of candy on Halloween then.
I'd be feeding everyone my leftover Halloween candy. Okay, yeah, okay, yes. I could see that as being... I agree with that
endorsing
as being
that?
number 1. Yeah, I endorse that. But now, so we've covered the logistics, we've covered the political side of it.
What else is stressful?
Number 3, the calories.
No, nothing about food on here, actually.
Really? Okay, so that's not stressful to people. Oh my God. I'm trying to... You're making me, say what I hate about my babies, my favorite holiday. You're making me examine what could possibly be bad about it.
Well, look, I know it's not bad for you and I, but how about the guys in plane, trains, and automobiles? What about that movie might have been stressful?
Being with John Candy is number 2.
Number 2, being with the corpse of John Candy, who has long been dead. The second Thanksgiving tradition
Still
that we
better
all
than
hate.
cleaning up, am I right?
Actually, I mean, you joke, but I think I would rather sit next to a corpse on a train than clean up after Thanksgiving.
What about a plane? And then follow up, what about an automobile?
Plane would be the worst.
Yeah, because you
It's
can't
just
really.
the tightest space.
Yeah.
Automobile would be the second worst. Train, you got a lot
You
of
could lower
room
the
to
window.
move around on a train,
True.
usually.
And you can lower the windows on a car. So I'm going to say that commuting, I'm going to put that at number 3.
No, it's the John Candy thing. Okay, I'll let the joke go. Number 3 is stressful travel.
I got the number right.
Yeah, you did. 21% say that's their least favorite part of Thanksgiving. Now, we saw earlier that the average American travels only 44 miles for Thanksgiving, so it must be a long 44 miles that they are stressed about.
Is this the sort of thing where the average is like, half the people travel 5 miles, the other half travel 3,000 miles. So obviously the average of that is 44.
Yeah, I think that's half of the 3,000 also. Yeah. But I think you are right. Like, a lot of people probably don't travel at all because they're the ones hosting it, or they live close. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you got people that live on the other side of the country or the world.
People in Shanghai obviously celebrate American Thanksgiving, so.
Okay, well, listen, jerk. I was thinking people that are Americans and moved to another country and then come back to visit for Thanksgiving.
Oh, they can, if they left our gracious land of America, they could just stay there then, right?
All right, I'm just going to move on because I can't talk to you.
And women should be doing the dishes.
Speaking of women, women are members of a family, typically.
Yeah.
And there's some women, family members, that you might like more than others. Some that might make you This is more of an uncle thing, really. Women was not the way to go. Imagine the creepy uncle. The creepy uncle might make you feel what?
Uncomfortable?
Seeing family members I am uncomfortable with is number 5.
Okay.
In the top 5. Yeah.
Okay, so when I said seeing your family, you wanted me to get more specific.
Is that not okay with you?
I guess I'm okay with it.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to make you uncomfortable guessing this fucking very serious list here.
Thank you, Uncle Nick.
It's weird, though, right? Because we said earlier the uncle is the favorite relative to see besides your parents and siblings. But
does it get that specific to say that uncle is number 5?
No, it just says seeing family members I'm uncomfortable with. I was leading you with uncle. It actually says, I have another thing here. If you do get an argument on Thanksgiving, who is the argument usually with? And uncle's also not number 1 there.
Really?
No, it's the dad.
Okay. Well, that's someone's uncle.
That's someone's uncle. I guess that's true. It goes dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, mom, and uncle. I just can't imagine arguing with my grandma, but I know everyone's grandma's different. But my grandma, I could not argue with her. Because I would be mid-argument and she would forget what I said 30 seconds ago, and then because she has Alzheimer's. So is that funny to you? My grandma's Alzheimer's?
I think this is comedy gold.
Maybe I should argue with her more.
Yeah, you could. That's an argument you can win if you want to feel good.
It's an argument you can make.
I want to feel good about yourself. This Thanksgiving, argue with your Alzheimer-y grandma.
Alzheimer-y. Wow. Okay, I think we're done, and we just need the last one on the list. You haven't even come close to guessing this yet.
Okay, so
we haven't even touched on it.
Family, politics, travel, hosting. What else is associated with Thanksgiving? Food poisoning?
No, that's on the favorite list. Food poisoning your enemies?
Yeah.
That's a favorite.
It's not food related.
It could be. It could be. Not
in
the way you're thinking, though. Because you have to do what to get food for Thanksgiving?
Slaughtering the turkey, the family pet turkey.
No, it's slaughtering the plant. that you use to make the plant-based brisket.
The brisket bush must be
Brisket bush.
Is it the finances? Is number 2 the
Holiday
finances?
expenses is number 2.
Okay, that is pretty bad.
Yeah, it does not say, but I'm wondering if Black Friday shopping expenses is wrapped in here.
Well, you're not required to go to Black Friday.
No, but a lot of people feel obligated to Christmas shop on Thanksgiving. I know, like, on Thanksgiving night, when I'm at my parents' house, my mom is already shopping online for Black Friday deals.
You're faulting your mother for loving to buy you gifts so much? Is this what it's come to?
And I'm faulting my father for Brown Friday. But we don't have to get into that. So do you partake in Black Friday, Daniel?
My mom and sister and sometimes my wife do. I've gone once because they were giving out like a free bath mat.
Okay. I can't take anything you say seriously anymore.
I still use it.
Are you being serious? Like legitimately a bath mat?
I swear to God, the only time I was drawn to going to Black Friday was because they had a thing at Macy's for like free bath mat without purchase. So I thought, well, that's something I like.
You didn't have to buy anything to get it?
No, that's why it was so good.
That's a hell of a deal.
It's a hell of a deal.
Did you buy anything while you were there?
I bought 5 more bath mats to go with it.
Okay, good. And then you swap it out every day of the week, right?
Yeah.
The work week.
Yeah. On God's day, we don't use a bath mat.
Right. You don't bathe at all.
No, just like God doesn't. Yeah, that was the only thing. Because other times, you know, especially nowadays, the deals really haven't been that appealing. Like, I feel like the deals aren't that great anymore. But, you know, it was a doorbuster, and I couldn't resist it. That's the only time I tried it.
So you are a capitalist consumerism pig that is forcing these poor parents and children to work at these retail supergiants on Thanksgiving Day.
Oink, oink, baby.
Fucking pathetic. Okay, so the top 5 most dreaded Thanksgiving traditions. Number 5 is seeing family members I'm uncomfortable with. Daniel didn't guess that one because he is the family member everyone's uncomfortable with.
I'm unfamiliar with the concept.
Number 4 is political disagreements. Number 3 is the stressful travel. Number 2 is the holiday expenses. And number 1 is hosting Thanksgiving for your family and friends.
See, it was hard for me to poke holes in a holiday I enjoy. That's why I feel like I did better on the favorite parts list.
So which holiday could we have done where you would have been poking holes left and right? You would have been glad to poke holes.
What's a holiday that I don't like? You know, New Year's is kind of let down.
Really?
Don't you think?
Like New Year's Eve?
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of wraps into one. Let's say the time from 10 p.m. December 31st to 2 p.m. January 1st is what I'm talking about.
The best I can do is noon on January 1st. Can't give you any later than noon.
Then I walk.
Yeah, I mean, well, fuck. Here's the hard truth, Daniel. They're all fucking overrated. They all fucking suck. There's not a good holiday out there.
Wow.
I'm kidding. There's some holidays I enjoy.
What is your favorite holiday? I didn't, you know, we've got my 2 favorite.
Probably Christmas, honestly, and not because of any of the sentimental shit. Mostly for the free shit I got as gifts growing up, and now it's like seeing my kids get all excited is fun and all that. But
and you're faulting your own mother for going Black Friday shopping.
And don't forget, I'm also faulting my father for the Brown Friday.
Never forget. Never forget what Father Emils did. Father Emil did.
Father Emil.
To the garbage disposal on November 25th.
Halloween's a good one, though. I don't love as much Halloween itself, like the trick-or-treating and the costume. More so, I just like the season. You know? I like the spooky movies, and I like the weather, but yeah. That's what I'd say.
That's fair. You.
Thank you for calling it fair.
It's fair.
I appreciate
You are beholden to the Catholic Church. I understand why
Absolutely. Anyone who listens to me knows.
This episode brought to you by Pope Francis.
Tennis Pod Plus member, Pope Francis. But Daniel, you have a podcast too. So tell the folks about it. What can they expect when they listen to Candy is Dandy?
Well, the best endorsement I can give of it is don't expect much. But if you listen to Candy is Dandy, you will hear every first and third Wednesday of the month, me, Greg Gundelman, and Beto Sistos are the other hosts. And each week we pick a different candy. We give some candy news. We give the history of that candy. Then we taste and review the candy live. I give it to my body double.
Yeah.
He writes down what he would give it out of 5 cavities, and then we play a little candy game, and that's what you get. We also have, here's a new thing to plug. We also have a YouTube and TikTok channel where I post little autopsy videos where you can kind of learn the history of a different candy in a minute or two. And
they're very cute. They're very cute. I recommend it. I love Candy is Dandy because look around. Look on your Apple Podcast app or Spotify. There's no one else doing a fucking candy review podcast. And it's more interesting than it might sound at first because the fucking, like, if you, well, I know it's hard to believe, but people that enjoy Tennis Podcast, one of the reasons they enjoy it is the little random trivia tidbits that we share. And that's what you get on Candy is Dandy too. So everyone should listen to it. And I'll put the links to the podcast as well as your TikTok and YouTube in the show notes.
You're going to love it. You're going to like the way you're going to like the way it looks. I guarantee it.
Stop. Listeners, if you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. If you're in America and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving because it is an embellished story of hiding genocide, then that's fine too. And if you're not in America at all, well, hello to you.
I hope you enjoyed Canadian Thanksgiving.
I hope you enjoyed whatever random, less important Thanksgiving you had to celebrate. And I would encourage the listeners listening to let me know what Thanksgiving traditions you love or hate. If you're listening to me on Spotify, you can comment directly in the Spotify app on this episode. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll also see a poll I posted that I would love your input on. If you're not on Spotify, you can also drop me a line on social media at @TennishPod. Let me know your favorite and least favorite Thanksgiving tradition, and I'll let you know my favorite and least favorite body part of Daniel.
For both answers, it's the giblets.
I was not expecting the giblets to come up, but hey, that's why we.
But whenever I walk into a room, you always say nice giblets.
I do, and then I'm immediately like, fuck, I remembered I hate the giblets. They're my favorite and least favorite part. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Daniel, thanks for being here. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Hey, you can find me on the phone with the neighborhood plumber in a few hours. So
on Brown Friday.
On Brown Friday.
Happy Brown Friday, everyone.